Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Honor. This is the first turn of the middle-aged Phlegra multiplayer game named, as I just said, Honor, that has just started. So let's see what our starting position is like. I've not really played on this map. I've looked at it. Of course, we have our god, HULK SMASH PUNY HUMANS, the god of Phlegra. And here we are in our starting position. So, I know that I'm here with my god, my unhappy little Cyclops man, and Architolum, what a name. Phasia is on this island directly south of me. Vanheim is over here somewhere. I believe Shinuyama is like right here-ish. Like one of these two. I think it's one of these two, maybe this one. Ermor is here. Agartha is here. Beyond that, I'm not entirely certain. I think Marignan is down in this area. In terms of land provinces, this map is larger than the map of Once More Into the Breach, but mainly in water provinces. In terms of land provinces, there are 16 land nations, and there's actually only about the same number of land provinces. So it's actually going to be a little bit tighter than Once More Into the Breach. Let's look at the other pretenders. No info on other nations is available. Huh. I guess we don't get to see the other pretenders. That's funny. I think in most multiplayer games you're allowed to see at least the names of the other pretenders and what nations they are. I guess that must just be a, that must be a setting. Okay, I guess the game owner didn't want us to be able to see other guys. I'm going to rename this guy since he's going to be my prophet. I'm going to rename him Minion-in-Chief. He will become a prophet. Astarius is just going to, like, patrol for now. And for recruitment, we're going to start on our first Phlegran... Well, there's a couple of ways I'm thinking about this. I could start on my first Phlegran Tyrant right away. Or I could, my first turn, recruit 3 of these dudes to help with expansion. And get a Trophimos Sage to start research. That would delay the Phlegran Tyrant by 1 turn. It might be worth it, because these guys do make expansion better. And then we can kind of fill in with a few archers or a few... just like 2 Healet Warriors and 1 archer. Actually, probably put in 2 Cyclops Warriors as well. They're not very worthwhile, but if they have chaff around, they might survive enough to get a couple club hits. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Let's get a Trophimos Sage to start our research off. HULK SMASH PUNY HUMANS here is going to start researching. Oh, and we're set on even research instead of random. Interesting. Okay, so we're 7 research points away from level 1 in anything. So let me see. We do want alteration pretty quickly. We'll also want, as I talked about, construction and enchantment pretty quickly. So let's go down alteration to level... Stone Skin doesn't really help my dudes because the Tyrants already have 11 natural protection. Iron Skin even doesn't help my god. Yeah, let's not go down alteration yet. Let's actually go down enchantment first. Because at enchantment level 3 we get strength of giants. Then we'll hit construction. So let's go enchantment level 3. Enchantment level 4 gives us flaming arrows. We don't need that till a little bit later. So enchantment... we could run down enchantment straight to level 4. Let's start with enchantment down to level 3. Phlegran research is going to be slow at the start of the game. So it'll take us a while before we have to worry about anything else. So these guys are going to be in a line formation up front. And they are going to hold and fire, which will let these guys toss their javelins. Yeah, and I think having the 3 Gigantes in there will help. Depending on what we're surrounded by. But HULK SMASH... excuse me, frog in my throat. HULK SMASH should be able to expand solo pretty rapidly. Like, immediately. I mean, he starts off with 22 protection from his natural and his earth magic, and with that many attacks, he pretty much just kills independent infantry before they get to swing at him. And of course, he has a ton of hit points. So even if they do hit him, it's not that big a deal. Plus, he has the reinvigoration to make him fatigue neutral, and the, where is it? Yeah, recuperation. So even if he does get afflicted, he'll heal it over time. And 2 reinvigoration. I do have the extra 2 encumbrance from severe heat, but it'll be okay. Yeah, the severe heat encumbrance does make my dudes worse. But Minion and Chief will profitize. Astarius is just going to patrol. He'll lead the giants once we get our giant recruitment done. And these two will move around as a group. And so next turn we'll have a little bit of research. We'll start on our first Tyrant, because we should be able to do that. I guess we won't actually be able to recruit anything if we start on a Tyrant next turn. If we start on a Tyrant this turn, we could still recruit 1 Gigante Warrior and then 2 Helots. Yeah, let's do that instead, actually. We'll just stick 1 Giant in with this gang and a couple of Helots. Like that. Okay, I think that's the way to do it. Alright, so that's going to be the first turn. Phasia, we had some interactions before the game that make me think he's not going to be very friendly. In particular, he seems to think that he's entitled to all of the coasts around this lake, which is a lot of provinces, like a lot more provinces than he's actually at all entitled to. I mean, even just the ones that are not really close to anyone that I know of. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8... 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Ermor's down here, I think, but like 17. That's a lot more provinces than he can reasonably expect to get. And these 3 in particular are like natural expansion zones for me. That said, I think expanding down there would cause a fight, so I'm gonna see where my natural expansion paths take me. He shouldn't be able to kill my Drakon early in the game, so I might send my Drakon south and have my other expansion party move north to try to take these 2. If that throne is easy, I may be able to send the Drakon in to take it. We do have 2 3-point thrones, 3 2-point thrones, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 1-point thrones. And we require 10 points all told. So we've got the Throne of the Sun that gives us heat, order, and growth, and 3 fire gems a turn. That would be great for me, plus spreads Dominion 5. Bureaucracy gives order and conflict bonus and spreads Dominion. Creation gives turmoil, produces resources, and spreads Dominion. That's not great. The Moon gives precision, growth, spreads Dominion, water, and astral. And the Crystal Throne allows the recruitment of Crystal Mages, who are fantastic. They're slow to recruit, but they're worth it. 2 Earth, 2 Astral, great cross paths. That said, I don't necessarily need access to crystal items, although the Crystal Shield would be nice. Then we have the Throne of Beasts, Summer, which is always a good one, Storms, because the Summer Mages are Fire Nature cross paths. They're nice for summoning Fire Ants if you don't have another way. Fire Ants are good summons. Other than that, they're not special, but Fire Mages are always good. Storms for Air Gems, Might for Strength plus 2. None of these matter to me because I have no Sacred units. Astral, and Magic Resistance. Also not relevant to me, because blessing my troops does nothing. I mean, if I got a strong enough bless from, like, stacking together all these throne things, it might almost be worth it to start forging to grab some Astral Indies and forge Shrouds of the Battle Saint. But that would mean giving up the actual armor that my dudes have, the Gleaming Cuirass, which is 12 protection. It's not great, but it's something. So yeah, oh, it's basic natural protection 9. I thought it was 11. Okay, only 9. So yeah, even Stone Skin would give them a pretty significant boost. Alright, so that's going to be my turn 1. We've got our immediate research goals. Like I said, it's going to take me a while to get to enchantment level 3, because early in the game, I'm not recruiting mages steadily. I'm recruiting tyrants, which are not researching. They're never researching. They're always either moving or recruiting slaves. Then I'll recruit some mages. I'll need to recruit more Trophimos commanders, because I need Trophimos commanders to buff the morale on my helots, which is abysmal. Helot archers are 6. God. And if I recruit a lot of Gigante warriors, eventually I need to recruit Cyclops Shepherd Shamans to lead them around. Or Cyclops Chieftains, but Cyclops Chieftains are pretty much worthless. So if I'm recruiting Cyclops leaders, I would rather they be Shepherd Shamans. The only benefit to Cyclops Chieftains is you can recruit 2 at once, or you can recruit 1 and a Trophimos commander in the same turn. So yeah, let's go from here. Next turn, Hulk Smash Puny Humans will take a province. My Prophet will take a province with his basic army. Although honestly, I'm wondering whether it's not more effective to ditch the Soldier and the Gigante just to get more Javelins. And it would only give me 3 more Javelins because of resource restrictions. Okay, that's fine. Alright, that's the turn. See you in turn 2. Okay, it is turn 2 of Honor. I've already made my moves, which are very minor. I'm recruiting 3 more Heelot Warriors and a pack of Heelot Archers to fill them out. My Tyrant, my first Tyrant, will be done next turn, and I will set him to churning out slaves, thus doubling my production in my capital, while I swap my recruitment over to Trophimos for a little while. I will recruit a second Tyrant pretty quickly, but I do want to get some research going, so I'm probably going to be pumping out Trophimos Sages, since they are by far my best researchers. And in Magic 3, they gave me, I believe it's 15 or 14 research points per turn. Honestly, I forget at the moment. But in any case, it's more than anybody else. So I'll be pumping them out for a few turns. Well, a couple of turns. I will have to pause to recruit some more Trophimos commanders for my Heelot expansion parties. But we'll get there. Hulk Smash Puny Humans is going up here, where there are 30 heavy infantry, militia, and archers, and Minion-in-Chief and Astarius are taking this line of Helots and 1 giant over here to take out this gang. Now, the game did actually have to restart since I recorded the last episode. Nothing has changed except somebody had joined as Statis, a rando, so we had to kick him out and get our actual player in, and then we had to swap out somebody else for Ulm. But we can look at our statistics, and we can look at the pretenders, which should give us an idea of who's doing what. So, we have Socrates, the god of Arcocephale. He is the god of this world, the consuming fire, god of courage. So he's high fire. God of this world, I think, also means earth, but I don't recall. So remember, Arcocephale has a lot of astral magic, and not great national troops, but okay national troops. Peaceful Rotfriend is the god of Ermor. That is a lie. Peaceful is absolutely a lie with Ermor. He's got God of Primeval Depths, Prince of the Dead, the one always at the shoulder, the Fortifier, which I think means he's taken Water, Death. I don't know what that is. Possibly Astral, and I think this is Earth. Anyway, he's taken a whole bunch of paths, which means he's going for a heavy Bless strategy. That's not surprising, because Ermor can afford to just absolutely trash their scales and go for a big Bless for their sacreds that spawn for free. We have Archaeus for Solaria, the other undead nation, with their undead astral ethereal sacreds. He has Archaeus, the Merchant of Souls, Vessel of Might, King at the Crossroads, Seducer of Life. Merchant of Souls, I'm pretty sure, is astral. Vessel of Might, King at the Crossroads, I'm not sure of. They may be related to Dominion Strength. Seducer of Life, think is Death? I think is Death. Okay. Statue of Kirk for Pythium, the other Ermor-related nation, the one that can recruit these communicants, which have the Communion Slave ability. They do have limited recruitment, but interesting. It's interesting that they can recruit units that have Communion Slave. They're like us in that way, although they do still have to cast Communion Master, I believe. Yeah, they still have to cast Communion Master. So it doesn't speed them up any, but it just means they have all these communicants. Now, communicants don't have any magic paths, so they're going to take increased fatigue from any spells. But the fact that you can recruit units that can do this means that they can have much larger communions if they need a large communion. So he has the God of Order, Lord of Vegetation, the Unsleeping God. So High Nature, High Order, I think that's the Order scale. And I'm not sure what Unsleeping does. Drangus III for Ulm Sword of Balance. Only one title, which means he has low dominion. That's interesting, because you would think... I haven't played much Middle Age Ulm, but I would think that Ulm would want high dominion in order to spread his great scales, because he would want good scales. Because his units are so resource intensive. Like, Black Plate Infantry takes about 30 resources or more than 30 resources to manufacture Black Plate Infantry. For regular infantry, even like 20 some odd resources. Crossbowmen 28, Guardians, their anti-sacreds 44. They need a lot of resources, so they need high productivity, and I would think they'd want to spread that very quickly. Although, they do have resource bonuses from their smiths. So by recruiting smiths, they can buff their resource production very, very effectively. And I imagine they have Drain, because as I mentioned before, Ulm has Mundane Researcher. We've got Richard Milhouse Nixon, King of Marignan, King of Astral Fires, Lord of the Heavenly Fires, King of Blood. So this is fire, blood, possibly astral, like you would expect for Marignan, because fire, astral, and some blood is what they do. Doesn't Marignan have blood? I thought Marignan had blood. I guess I was wrong. I guess they don't have blood. So what was the one that had blood? Oh, it was the nation after this. It was the late age version of Marignan has blood. Okay, never mind. Ignore me. They don't have blood. They have troubadours, which are seducers, although they only work on members of the opposite sex, so only female commanders can be seduced by troubadours. There are no gay people in Dominions, fun fact. 0. So yeah, fire and astral, and King of Blood I think means he has blood magic, so Marignan may be trying to splash into blood. We have Jackie Chan, the Pretender of Tianxi, Master of Dirt, Protector of the Holy Mountain, so High Earth, that's all I know from that. Secular Humanism, the God of Agartha, Prince of Earthquakes, Master of Strength, King of Kings, King of Mountains, also High Earth, and I think High Dominion. Barana, King of Abyssia, Goddess who knows all things, Herder of men, Friend of the dead. Interesting. So Middle Age Abyssia is a big blood nation. They've got the Warlocks, which are adept crossbreeders and have high blood magic. They have the Demon Bred, which are fire and blood, and expert blood searchers, interestingly, although they're slow to recruit, so you would never use them for that. They have Warlock Apprentices, which are relatively cheap and have 2 levels of blood. So these guys are very, very efficient blood searchers. They have the Anathemant Dragons, which have 3 fire, but are old. So they're the other big fire race in this this game, basically. And the Anathemant Salamanders, them and Marignan. And then they have their Warlords and their regular dudes. But yeah, so they have their Sacreds are these Lava Warriors. Yeah, which are berserkers that get 2 Morning Star attacks and have literally no defense. Like 0. They do have a heat aura and firepower, so they get stronger in heat provinces, which means that Abyssia always takes 3 heat, just always. And they get extra fire bless points. So it's interesting that I guess I don't see fire on this list. I mean, Herder of Men is blood. Goddess who knows all things, I don't know what that is. Friend of the dead seems like it should be death, but Abyssia doesn't have death. Interesting. Okay. We've got Wotan, the leader of Vanheim, Prince of Animals, King of the Sacred Eye, God of Insects, so heavy nature there. Tamomo no Me, the Breathmaker, Patron of Smiths, Mother of all Children. I'm not sure whether... I think Mother of all Children might be related to a growth scale, which is not surprising. Everybody takes growth 3, pretty much. Breathmaker, I believe, is air, which would be useful for Shinuyama to get access to some national summons that they can't actually natively summon. One of the Tengus requires air magic, and they don't have any air magic, and Dai Tengu require air magic. Patron of Smiths, I think, once again means earth magic. So I think that's an air-earth god, and Shinuyama doesn't have any sacred troops, I think. Except for summons. They have sacred summons. Expletive deleted. The god of Ashdod, god of heavenly fires, destroyer of demons, the most high, the ever-burning one. So, fire, astral, I believe, and high dominion. Fair enough. High dominion is not a bad idea in a game with Ermor. Ruvelia, goddess of birth, princess of horses. That's definitely growth 3. Not sure what that is. Princess of horses. That might be nature. The Udruk Sacreds are these Maidens of the Moon, which are pretty solid. They're not special. They have high protection and pretty good defense skill, and they're formation fighters. So they've got that going for them. And then Udruk in general is another high astral nation, as I talked about before. Mashus can have astral 4. You've got astral 2 or 3 on N2s. And guaranteed astral 2 on Erichdingers. So lots and lots of astral. We have a pile of bones. The god of Nazca. He was on the mountain, master of magic. That's definitely very high astral. And of course, they've got the freaking royal Malquis that have 2 in every path. It's crazy. And the Koyas, who have 2 in a lot of paths. And the Incas, who just have 2 in a couple of paths. But they're both slow to recruit. The royal Malquis are not slow to recruit. But I think... See, I've never played Nazca, so I'm not sure, but I think there's a limit on how you can get these things. Like, I think you might actually have to sacrifice mages. Yeah, because these guys have Mummify. I think you actually have to lose these in order to get a royal Malquis. Because you've got the... Yeah, this guy, I think, becomes Malki Priestess. I feel like you can't just recruit Malkis. I'll have to test Nazca to see if that's true, but I feel like you can't just recruit them. You have to actually get them by losing other mages. Okay. Then, of course, we have HULK SMASH PUNY HUMANS. Myself, I am the Bringer of Abundance, the Mountain Lord God of Inventions. I have Nature and Earth, and that's Nature, and these two are both related to Earth. And then we have Python, which is actually a default name for an Earth Snake. So the player of Phasia clearly doesn't care if anybody knows who his pretender is. Personification of strength, giver of food. This is Earth Nature. So this is an Earth Nature Earth Snake, which is one of the very, very standard, old-fashioned, expanding pretenders. And is amphibious, which means he can get into the water immediately if he wants to. Yeah, I had a discussion with him about Phasia, actually, and honestly, as I said when I was going through my video on Phasia, I feel like the Colossi Storm Captains are a definite strength of the nation. He didn't seem to agree with me necessarily, so we'll see if he thugs these guys out the way I probably would. If I was playing Phasia, I would be recruiting Storm Captains somewhere pretty much non-stop and forging them simple items with Colossi Weavers and some of these guys who have higher paths. And just sending them out. Because, I mean, like, frost brands, a shield, maybe a pair of nature boots. You don't actually have nature as Phasia, but you can get 1 nature independence very easily. So, yeah, I would absolutely be using these guys as thugs all the time. With those paths are fantastic. So that's all the gods, that's all the nations. Yeah, I've got Marignon over here. Ulm is down in this area. Agartha, Ermor, Shinuyama, Vanheim. Ashdod, I think, is over here-ish. A ways away from me, in any case, which is fine. I'm not sure where Celeria is. I don't remember where a couple of the others are, but we don't have to worry about that just yet. If we look at throne placement near me, that one is pretty much the only one that is anywhere close. The thrones actually did change when we rehosted the game as well, so we can look at them. Still have the Throne of the Sun. We now have the Throne of Destiny, which gives you luck and order, which is nice. The High Throne, which just spreads dominion. The Throne of the Moon, which gives you water and astral pearls and growth. We now have the Iron and Silver Thrones. The Iron Throne gives you Adepts of the Iron Order, which are great little mages. Earth Astral Cross Paths, and Adept Researchers, so they're worth recruiting for research, but they can also forge and cast great spells. You also have the Silver Throne, which gives you the Silver Order, which are Astral Air Cross Paths. Not quite as useful, but still pretty solid, and they're also Adept Researchers. Then we have the Throne of Winter, which gives you Mages of Winter that are Water Death Cross Paths. Those would be pretty useful for me. The Throne of Law, which gives you Order. The Stars, which gives you Astral Pearls. Flames, which gives you Fire and Fire Resistance. And Beasts, which gives you Nature and Animal Awe. So, yeah, it's kind of unfortunate. That's the closest throne to me. Then this one is second. In this wasteland here. We also have that one up there, but that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 provinces off, and through a mountain pass. In order to get to it guaranteed, I have to go through this cave and around and just all kinds of crap. So that's complex. Of course, I do have a heat domain, so if I get my Dominion over there, I'll be able to cross through that mountain pass very easily. But yeah, I only have these 3 thrones, which are fairly close to each other, but not actually terribly closer to me than anyone else. Then there's a throne up here on the bottom shore of the lake. And then there's thrones over this way. And down here, which is a long ways away from me. So yeah, not many thrones in close proximity. There's 11 thrones total. And you need 10 points, okay. Anyway, so that is turn 2. My recruitment, like I said, is more helots. I'm not recruiting giants. Well, actually, it might be a good idea to recruit giants and send out all Giganti expansion parties led by Cyclops while I'm just building up some helots. It would probably take 3 turns. 9 Gigantes could take out a couple provinces without having to stop. That might be a strategy. It's a lot more gold intensive because one of these guys costs as much gold as 8 Helot warriors or Helot archers. So I can, for 3 of these guys, 3 of these is the gold equivalent of recruiting 24 infantry. I can certainly do it though. And then just pile in a few archers as well. Yeah, that still leaves me some extra gold. Okay, I'll do that for now. They are going to have to kind of hang around my capital for a few turns, but probably what I'll do is Minion-in-Chief and Astarius will go over here, then I'll bounce Astarius back to pick up the other giants if there's an easy target for Minion-in-Chief. And of course, Hulk Smash will be expanding by himself as well. So my expansion will at least be pretty solid. I anticipate being able to get a steady 1.5, 2 provinces a turn during the early expansion period. So with that, I should be able to get some pretty good work done. This province may be a problem, but it's only Bakemono shows in there. So despite the fact that it's a cave, I should be able to bust through it pretty quick and get over here. This will be a valuable province. These caves will be nice because they're high resource, and they give you more magic sites. So what I'm hoping to do is, in the early expansion phase, I'm hoping to get this province. These mountains actually don't block travel. They don't have a border mountain in them, so they don't have any passes. That's a pass right there, but that isn't, and that isn't. So that's interesting. But you can't travel through this, so you have to go through here or through here. So I'm hoping to get these 2 field provinces for money and kind of cut off, use the mountains as a little bit of a border. I'm hoping to get over to here and ideally claim that throne, and I'm hoping to cross these mountains and get down to about here. If I can get that whole chunk of territory, I'll be in very, very good shape. Now, claiming the coasts would bring me into conflict with Phasia, and we are going to have to probably negotiate that. Phasia seemed to indicate that they are planning to be very isolationist. I don't know how true that is. To me, that sounds like a great way to lose a game of Dominions. But if they want to try it, they may be able to pull it off, because they do have cloud trapezing thugs, and they have air magic and all that kind of stuff. Plus, they're sailing. If they can spread their Dominion out to all the borders, they'll be able to get from here to, say, here in 1 turn. I think. With the Phasian Dark Ships ability. So that'll be interesting. Right now, I anticipate that for future planning, I anticipate that my first war is going to be either Shinuyama, who is Great Grey Shrike, same player that I'm playing against as Baratos in the Machaka game, or Phasia, who I've never played with or against before, but who doesn't seem too friendly. So we'll kind of have to work that out. If Phasia is fighting against Ermor, I will absolutely leave him alone, because I want as many people as possible fighting Ermor. If he's not going to fight Ermor, and the indications he's given are that he's not, then I want to kill him, because I want his island. Now, getting to the island is a huge problem, because I don't have the cross paths necessary to forge the one item that gives you sailing. There's only one. It's an air nature cross path item, and it's just awful to get. You have to get construction 6 first, and ugh. So, for me, the only option for getting to him would be to march across the seabed with tyrants who have water-breathing items. Which means I have to get Cyclops with a water random to forge water-breathing items, and ideally items that give other people water-breathing as well, so that I could take an army with me. And it would be a great big hassle. So more likely, if I actually go to war with Phasia, it's going to be a matter of me taking some of these coasts, us fighting a little bit, and then coming to some kind of an agreement whereby I don't invade him and he doesn't constantly raid my coasts. And that's just going to have to be it. Otherwise, we might come to an agreement where I just kind of stay up here. Maybe I take this one so that I can move through in this direction. But we're going to have to work something out. Or that's going to be, like, if he actually insists on having all of these coastal provinces, that's not acceptable. It's not going to work. We are going to have a war about it. So, we'll see how that goes. Shinuyama I should be able to negotiate with to some extent, at the very least. I think we can probably make this a border. It's within 2 provinces of his capital, and it's 3 provinces away from mine. But unless he's taken an Awake Expander, which he might have done, I think I can take it. Well, Air-Earth is usually not the cross-paths of an Awake Expander. And Shinuyama, I don't think, has many great Awake Expanding chassis, so I wouldn't anticipate he's done that. And Shinuyama's troops are not fantastic. I mean, they have the what are they called? Yeah, the Dai Bakemono. And the Dai Bakemono ain't bad, but they are expensive. And the only thing they have going for them is high protection, really. They're small giants. They have size 3. Their attack and defense skill is pretty decent, but not totally exceptional. Their damage is high. So, don't know. It'll be interesting to see what he does. Got the Bakemono generals here that'll be his main... I mean, probably, to be honest, his main commanders will just be independent commanders, because these guys aren't inspirational or anything. They're not special. So he probably won't be recruiting many of those. I anticipate a lot of Obakemono in expansion parties for the strength, and probably a lot of Bakemono warriors, or just little tiny pathetic Bakemono show to serve as chaff for the Obakemonos. And then we'll see what transpires. So those 2 are my worries in the early game. A little bit later on, Marignan, who's over here somewhere, will start to become an issue. Marignan may be my first issue if I can make peace with both of these guys, but we'll see. Phasia, just strategically, Phasia is going to have to be a target at some point. Hopefully they will go fight Ermor, and they'll be busy with that, and I'll be busy up here, and never the twain shall meet for a while. But we'll see what happens. So in any case, I'll see you in turn 3. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it is turn 3 of Honor. Let's see what's going on. Okay, a couple more proclamations. Look like Marignan waited to recruit a paladin to be their prophet, and Nazca recruited an Aposkispe. I don't actually know what an Aposkispe is, but let's view some battles. So here comes our Drakon, taking on a small group of basic independent units. And I anticipate that this will go without issue. I'm not sure if I talked about my Bless. For my Blessing, all I took was Reinvigoration +2 and Recuperation. So if he gets any afflictions, he will heal them over time, and his Reinvigoration will keep him from fatiguing out too quickly. Obviously, I was not going with a heavy Bless strategy because I have literally no sacred units. except for my Drakon and my Trophimos priests, which I don't anticipate recruiting very much. But as you can see, with his multiple attacks, the Drakon kills several independent infantry every turn, which means it does not take return hits, basically. I mean, I think it lost a few HP there, but not much at all. And with the Poison Breath, it does damage constantly, and so, yeah, not a problem. In Tricia, this might have been a slightly tougher fight, we'll see. Heavy infantry are kind of a tough matchup for Heelot soldiers or Heelot warriors. Heelot warriors do enough damage to hurt them, but their attack is relatively low. And heavy infantry are basically the same as Heelot warriors, but better protection and better defense. They don't have javelins, though. So we're going in, our giant goes berserk. He's kind of holding the line down, stabbing some dudes, taking a little bit of damage, but not too much. Yeah, what's his base HP? 62? He's taken 11 points of damage. Yeah, it happens, but because of that giant soaking up the attention of some of these heavy infantry, we're going to get out of this without much by way of casualties. Yeah, so we lost 5 of our Heelot soldiers and none of our warriors. Great. While we're thinking about it, actually, let's look at Nazca. Nazca. What is that unit that they had there? I think that might have been a freeze. Oh, no. It's a basic commander. Interesting. An officer, highest ranking officer in the kingdom. Being a close relative of the Sun King, he will be mummified upon death. So he turns into a Malki when he dies. Okay, interesting. Interesting. Yeah, 56 gold per year upkeep. Oof, that's a lot for a, well, I guess, yeah, he's just kind of expensive. Interesting. I wonder why they didn't do that last turn, but okay. So, we've taken our 2 provinces. Over here, we're recruiting more giants and archers, and we've got our first tyrant, Menoethius. I probably will rename him at some point. I'm not going to bother doing it right now. Right now, he's going to capture slaves, and I am going to start recruiting sages. So we'll recruit sages for a couple of turns. Army-wise, I've got 7 units in the garrison. My unrest is going to be going up because I have giants. So we're going to recruit sages for probably 1 sage, and then I'll recruit a Trophimos commander and a Cyclops chieftain. And they will lead armies, further expansion armies. I'll send an army this way, and I'll send an army down here. This army is kind of small to keep pushing on. Might be able to take out 20 barbarians. I can probably take out 20 barbarians. I'm going to put just 1 point of defense in each of these provinces for now. Pisakas and Ganas. That won't be too tough. This province actually has quite a bit of income, so I may want to take it. But I also want to push over here. Let's send HULK SMASH to take that province. And this army, I only have 23 resources here, so I can't recruit much. Let's recruit a commander here, in preparation, as it were. Minion-in-Chief. Actually, I'll tell you what, 20 barbarians we probably can take on. Let's set them to hold and fire. Closest. And we'll pull them back a little bit so he can use his smite and all. We should be able to take out 20 barbarians. Astarius actually will head back to grab the giants, and Minion-in-Chief, not that province, will attack that province. When we take that province, we'll probably have to pause to re-recruit with Minion-in-Chief, or we'll pull him back. So, instead of recruiting a commander here, I'll recruit a couple of Heelot warriors. So he'll go down there, he'll bounce back, pick up 4 more Heelots, and then be able to move to reinforce somebody else. And next turn, Astarius will have 7 Gigantes, and that will be enough to take out this province. And we'll build up archers for 2 turns, and our slaves, and then we'll take that army in here to take out these Bakemono shows. They do have night vision, and our troops won't, which will make our stats low, but we will still have the javelins, and javelins are quite accurate even in darkness, because they are such short range. So yeah, I think that should do it. We still haven't learned anything about anybody else. Our vision has not expanded very far. We don't have any scouts. So I've got to find an independent scout-producing province, but that will have to wait for a later turn, so I will see you in turn 4. Alright, it is on our turn 4. Summer in the year 0 of the Ascension Wars. So let's view our battle in Lorbora real quick. See how this one went. That might have gone badly. We'll see. If I have enough smites, I might have pulled it off. I'm not... I set them to hold and fire, and they're not throwing their javelins. I'm wondering if mixing in the Heelot soldiers messes that up somehow. I was really planning on getting a couple rounds of javelins in order to beat these guys, because barbarians are very susceptible to javelins, but that looks like that's not going to happen. So, yeah, okay. Well then. Hold and fire. I thought I'd put them on hold and fire. And hold and fire should throw javelins, but okay. I lost that army. I am still expanding with my pretender, so it's not all that bad, unless my pretender somehow died, which he didn't. Not against this force, that's for sure. Yeah, he did take some damage, but not going to die. Okay. In Nam, lots of unrest and misfortune, and in Tricia, lots of unrest. Great. What I wanted. So, I've got Menotheus still capturing slaves. I've got Astarius with his 7 giants. I do have 28 helots here. And I am recruiting more. I think I'm going to stop recruiting giants for now, actually. And just get a couple more... yeah, archers and helot warriors. So let's bring Minion-in-Chief back. Astarius should go take out these Jaguar tribe. And he will literally just put them forward with no orders. I could mix in some helots to give them some chaff if I wanted to. Might be a good idea. They'll run quickly because they have such low morale, but it won't really bother the giants because the giants have the vast majority of the HP in this unit. Yeah, let's do that. And then Astarius, will actually start Astarius up with them. Just so that he can't easily be singled out by people going around behind him. Research-wise, as I mentioned, as Phlegra, your research is super slow. So yeah, I'm going very, very slowly. I've been thinking about it. Going down enchantment isn't a terrible idea, but actually I probably want to go down alteration first. Because alteration not only gives me self-buffs, it also gives me Earth Meld, which is a great early combat spell that I'll be able to cast out of a very small and very cheap communion. So, we're going to actually swap over to alteration. We're going to go down alteration to level 3 for Iron Skin. And then we're probably going to go down Conjuration just to get the power spells, Phoenix Power and Earth Power. After that, we'll go back to Enchantment and Construction and all that, and Evocation and all that stuff. But let's get Alteration first and then kind of see where we are. So, Astarius is going to take a province. HULK SMASH is going to take a province. Taking on those Pisakas and Ganas might be one way to go. Are there any spells you can cast? No. None whatsoever. I could go over this way and take that province. It has a death scale, interestingly. And there's some enemy dominion already. Not sure whose. Okay. I'm going to swing north. I'm going to take out all these undead real quick. And I'll be taking that province. Once my prophet picks up troops, he will go where? If I thought I could reliably win, I'd send the giants in here. Because if I could move my giants in there, take that province, then next turn I could have them take this province or this province while my infantry take this province. Against Bakemono shows, although actually, honestly, just having a ton of missiles might be the right way to deal with that. Yeah, so next turn I'll end up with something like 20 Heelot warriors and also about 20 archers, which is a reasonably solid gang. Okay. Yeah, and then I might go in against the Bakemono show. Just because in the darkness of caves, all of my troops get like a 3-point penalty to their attack and defense and precision, which makes them much more garbage than they already are. And it makes it so that Bakemono shows can take them on one-on-one. The javelins are kind of a saving grace, because at the short range that javelins are thrown at, they can be effective, but yeah. So we will see. I think that's all my moves for this turn. I am still recruiting another Trophimos Sage, since I've not gotten to the point where I need more commanders yet, so I'm just going to steal as much research as I can. They do give me 14 points each, which is quite solid for their price, actually. I mean, 115 gold for 14 points of research is not bad. And of course, they also have useful paths, since they have those 2 linked randoms. So in Extremis, if I need to use them, I can, as combatants. So, that's all for now, and I'll see you in turn 5. Alright, it is turn 5 of Honor. We've completed our research and alteration to level 1. There was a battle in Seren Forest. This is our Giganti expansion squad, with a few humans mixed in as chaff. They're just fighting Jaguar Tribe, so this is not dangerous. Jaguar Tribe are very, very bad. Jaguar Tribe warriors are like kind of average light infantry, except instead of javelins, which are kind of dangerous, they have slings, which are not. And Jaguar Tribe slingers are awful, awful ranged units with slings, which are bad. They do have a Jaguar Tribe priest, who is a 1 nature, 1 holy unit, but holy doesn't matter because he has no sacreds. So the giants are just going to charge in, stab everyone to death, and that will be that. Great. Then we also had this battle in Bright Woods. This was probably the riskiest battle I've taken yet, because I'm going up against these undead, right? These guys, not too dangerous. Pisakas, normally they're a little dangerous because they have this paralyzing poison, but the fatigue damage is reduced for large targets, and they have to actually deal damage with it. Since they only deal 16 damage against my 22 protection, odds are low. And then since my god is also size 6, he doesn't take much fatigue from it in any case. No, the dangerous part of this is that we have these guys who are ethereal, which means that 75% of attacks from non-magical weapons miss them outright, and so they can suck up a lot of attack time to remove, which gives the Pisakas more time to surround me and deal chip damage. They're also all poison resistant, so the Drakon's poison breath doesn't affect them. So without any spells, the Drakon's going to charge in. He will get very, very much surrounded. The only thing that I've got going for me in this battle is that these are not mindless undead. They do have morale scores. So you can see here, I've actually taken, you know, some damage here. And then I take way, way more that round. I'm down to 48 hit points. In retrospect, this battle was kind of a bad idea to take, but it worked out. I lived with 48 hit points, and I didn't even get any afflictions or anything. So, we've won the province. I also got a whole bunch of misfortune in Trisia, but joke's on you, I already had misfortune 3. That doesn't do anything to me. So, looking around, we can now confirm this is Shinuyama, this province right here. So that's where Great Grey Shrike is, who's playing Shinuyama. He's also playing Baratos in the Machaka game. I don't remember if I mentioned that before. But yeah, so he's right next to me, which is great. This province I definitely want to take. I would like to take this province, but it has freaking 50 units, mainly heavy cavalry. So my god could probably storm through them, but I don't really want to risk it just yet. I'll wait till I have a big army of chaff to sweep that province away. The province that I really want, though, is right here, because this province is full of lizard warriors and crocodiles, and that pop type, I believe, always gives you access to lizard shamans, at least it should, which are an astral independent mage. So I want to take that province, I want to fort it, and I want to crank out low-level astral mages forever. That will break me into astral in a big way. Because, of course, with Astral 1 and Communions, you can cast any astral spell. So that'll be great if I get that. So I'm going to have my god go boop, boop, boop right there, and then he'll double back to take this if at all possible. Shinuyama might get it first. And if so, we're going to have to discuss that a little bit. It is 2 provinces away from his capital, so if he insists on having it, okay, fine, we'll work it out. But I really definitely want this one. I insist on having that province. Down here, I've moved Minion-in-Chief back to take another army of Helots. The Helots are going to attack this province, since it's the only province they can attack within 1 move of the capital. That will complete my cap circle. This army, Astarius's giant army, doesn't need to be here. I mean, the giant army could probably take this province on its own, but yeah, I think I'm going to send both armies over this way anyway. Just double up here, and then one of them will go here, and one will go here. Just to make sure, because this will be a dark province since it's a cave, and I believe Bakemono have at least like 50% dark vision, so they don't take much of a penalty, whereas my Helots in the dark will be just worthless. 7 attack, 9 defense, I think, or maybe 8 defense, 7 precision. It'll be bad. So that's what I'm aiming to do there. The other option would be to take Minion-in-Chief's army over this direction and expand down here or up here immediately. 50 lizard warriors and crocodiles my Helots might not be able to take, though, so I'm kind of putting that on the shelf. I'm recruiting an indie commander over here and an indie commander over here, so that I have people who can start constructing forts. I am recruiting a sage this turn. Next turn, I will recruit 2 Trophimos commanders, who will lead my next 2 expansion armies. In those 2 turns, I should generate between 20 and 30 Helot warriors from Menotheus, and I'm recruiting about, I forget exactly how many this is, it's about 20. So in 2 turns, I'll have a good 60, 70, possibly even 80 if I'm really, really lucky, Helot warriors for my next Trophimos commander to lead out, and then I'll add a 3rd Trophimos commander who will lead another army in another couple of turns. Pretty soon after that, I will recruit my 2nd Tyrant. I hope to have... I'm aiming to have 3 by the start of year 1, probably. And I'm also aiming to have at least 2 more forts under construction by late winter, by turn 12. So in 7 more turns, I want to have 3 giants, which means 4 turns spent creating tyrants. And I want to have 2 forts under construction. Ideally, I will start 1 next turn. That would be what I'd like to do. And if necessary, I can cancel out recruiting Helots, which will save me a good bit of money that turn. I don't need to do so right now. So I'm not going to yet. I'm going to keep recruiting troops to add to my next expansion party. But you can see, recruiting Helots, I save a lot of gold. Like recruiting Gigantes, 3 Gigantes costs more than 180 gold. This whole pile of recruitment here doesn't cost 180 gold. I could be recruiting a lot more Helots if I had the resources. So that's another reason why I'm getting this cavern. It will add a whole bunch of resources per turn to my capital. In any case, foregoing the giants is a little bit riskier. It makes me more vulnerable to rushes, possibly. But it also means that I can just afford to be shitting out troops constantly, pardon my French, and building fortresses and not have to worry about it. So that one giant expansion party is probably all the Gigantes I'm going to recruit, unless I see a real pressing need for specifically expensive, high damage troops. Basically anything else I'll just do with more helots. If I have enough helots, I can overcome anything. So that's turn 5. Next turn we'll start a new video, I believe, because I think this one's getting fairly long. And so I will see you in the next one.